He's this week here on hashtag Rise and Grind, and I'm super excited, but I definitely don't want to waste any of your time or mine. So let's dive in right out the gate. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? See, there's no excuse for you not pushing yourself to the next level. In order for you to create a new you must have a new mindset. When teams come together, we can create things that are greater than the sum of all of their parts.
Good morning and welcome to hashtag Rise and Grind. I am your host, Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to one, a father to 8, and the creator of what is going to be the #1 most watched morning show in the world. It is 5:30 a.m. and I hope that you are ready to rise and grind.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? Dude, today is Monday. That's right, today is Monday, May 31st. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time it'll ever be Monday, May 31st, 2021. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most, and I do mean the absolute most, of this absolutely incredible day. Hey, today is also Memorial Day 2021. This is the day that we need to remember and honor our troops. We are so thankful for all of those that have sacrificed their lives and their livelihoods for us here in America. I personally say thank you. The country would not be the same if it were not for you. Listen, this week here on hashtag Rise and Grind, we are starting a new series. This is an incredible new series called Walk This Way. And in this series, we're going to discover and examine the lives of some absolutely extraordinary humans. Extraordinary humans that have literally transformed this incredible planet. And yet, many of them, you've never even heard their name. It's going to be an amazing series. I'm super excited to share it with you. Before we go too far, though, you know what we got to do. You know what we got to do. There we go.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Boom.
Stay woke.
There it is. We got to get moving, folks.
Hashtag rise and grind. Hashtag rise and grind.
We got to get moving. Listen, for those of you that know, those of you that don't know, this is the part of the show where I need you to hit that share button. That's right. I need you to hit that share button, because I believe if we can change the way people start their day, it'll make a massive impact on this planet. I truly believe that. And sometimes all it takes to change the way somebody starts their day is for you to hit that share button. So if you're over there on Instagram, share it out. Facebook, share it out. If you're listening to the podcast, do the subscribe thing and make sure you leave a comment, right? That helps. YouTube. If you're on Clubhouse, go ahead and hit that plus button right now. Now's the best time. Go ahead and hit that plus button. We're going to do some dancing, all right? We're going to get this object in motion. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. An object at rest tends to stay at rest. So if you're laying in bed, it's time for you to get up. If you're out there working out right now, come on, push it a little bit harder. You got more. I know you do. I know you do. Now listen, this is also the part of the show where I want to say good morning to you, and I want you to say good morning to me. Whether you're watching live, watching on replay, on the podcast, on YouTube, on Instagram, say what's up, and I'll say what's up back. Fair enough? Fair enough. Like right now, I see my folks over on Instagram. We got my man, Walla Saya SJ from Tunisia. Did I say that right? Walla Saya SJ. We've also got Ronaldo Grube. And then we've got Sayag Jameer. What's up, Sayag Jameer? You guys are challenging me today over there on Instagram. Over on Clubhouse, I see my man Alpha 6 is in the building. Laura Wild has joined us. Kimberly and Mark. Dr. Janie and Vernita. I see Dr. Rowe. I see Sharon and Justin and Amanda and Lolita with the T. I see Jeff and I see El. Is that El Michelle with the new profile pic? I see El Michelle doing it up. I see Trust and Marisha and Dora and Gail and Chris and Taylor and Gregory and Monica. Golly. I see Megan and Honey is in the house. What's up, Honey? Great to see you. I see Mallory and Culture. I see Becca and Cleo. I see Tosh and Selena. I see Molly is up in the house as well. And Carolyn and Bernice and Marcia and Andrew. And Phil is in the house. And Charlene is in the house. Oh my goodness. Packed up. And Claus is in there as well. We are packed over on Clubhouse. We are packed over on Instagram with Alloy Artist and Bomaniki. And we got Galnia5. And I'm trying to get into Facebook so I can see my Facebook feed. But of course, I'm running into trouble on Facebook. That tends to be the case. So I can't get in there. So for those of you that are watching on Facebook, good morning. I can't see you. I hope that you are there, but I can't get in. So we're just going to leave it at that. But listen, all of you, whether you're on Insta, whether you're on Clubhouse, whether you're on Facebook, dude, something amazing happened this weekend, and it's going to affect you right here, right now. All right? I'm going to make sure this music's turned down. I want you to be able to hear it. All right? Something amazing happened this weekend. You see, last week on Wednesday, we had this incredible human named Ryan Leak. And Ryan was on Breakfast with Champions. He was on Breakfast with Champions on Clubhouse. And this dude is the associate pastor with TD Jakes, right? With TD Jakes. And the dude is just brilliant. It's amazing what this guy does. And so we got a chance to get to meet him and get to know him. And he called me this weekend. And he said, Glenn, I really enjoyed being on Breakfast with Champions. And I have written a book called Chasing Failure. What if losing was the quickest way to win? And he said, I want to give every single person that watches Rise and Grind and every single person that tunes into Breakfast with Champions, I want to give every single one of them a copy of my book. Now, listen to me. I'm like, bro, do you realize we're talking like tens of thousands of people? Tens of thousands of people that tune into, what's up, Ashley? Great to see you. There's tens of thousands of people that tune into Breakfast with Champions. I was like, are you sure? He's like, dude, I want to give every single one of them a free copy of my book. I will ship it to their house. It will cost them nothing. This is an actual hardback. This is not, or a paperback. This is not an ebook. This is a real book that he wants to send to your house because he believes chasing failure, what if losing was the quickest way to win, is one way that he can single-handedly change the world. And so here's what he told me to do. If you want a free copy, free, no strings attached, this is not a funnel. This is not anything like that. This is him sending a book to your house. You don't pay for shipping. You pay for nothing. If you would love a copy of this incredible book, Chasing Failure, What If Losing Was the Quickest Way to Win by Ryan Leak, all you have to do is text the word champion to this phone number. You got to text the word champion to 469. Make sure you got a pen. Make sure you're paying attention. Lean in. I know you guys are doing stuff this morning. Pay attention. This is a free book straight to your house from this man. He believes in this so powerfully. Text the word champion to 469 809 1201. I'll say that one more time. Text the word champion to 469 809 1201. Now, when you do that, what's going to happen is there's going to be this legal thing that you have to accept, and then it's going to ask you for your name and your address so that he can ship the book. That's it. They're not going to put you on any list. Like, you're not going on this list where you're going to start getting spam mail in your mailbox or anything like that. He's just going to send you the book. So text the word champion and then follow the prompts. Put in your name and address. I've never had an author do this before. We've had many authors on shows. I've never had an author agree to give every single person who wants a copy of their book a copy for free. He will pay for shipping. He is paying for the book, and he will ship it to you. So text that number. This is incredible. Text that number, text the word champion to 469-809-1201 and get your free copy of Ryan's book, Chasing Failure, What If Losing Was the Quickest Way to Win. Absolutely incredible. What an incredible human. I'm so thankful that Dr. Rowe introduced us, and now he has a gift for you. With that said, let's go ahead and dive in and kick off this new series here on hashtag Rise and Grind. I want you to meet a gentleman by the name of Jim Barnett. Now, Mr. Jim Barnett, what's up, Sarah Holland? Great to see you. Julia, great to see you as well. Awesome. I'm so glad you're here. I want you to meet this guy named Jim Barnett, all right? Now, Mr. Jim Barnett is the CEO of a company called Glint, Glint. And for those of you that are in the business world that have a lot of employees, I suggest you take a look at this. So he is the CEO of a company called Glint. And Glint is a revolutionary company that in 2013 discovered one simple truth. They discovered one simple truth. Leaders in most successful organizations were not happy. Think about that. Think about that. We all kind of know that. We all kind of have talked about that, but they actually did the science. They did the study. They did the research, and they found that leaders in most of the most successful organizations around the planet, they were not happy. Now, yes, they had money. All right. These leaders did have some money. They had plenty of money for sure. And they also had power. Right? They had lots of power, cosmic power, right? So they had money and they had power, but they were not happy. That's what they found, which is crazy to kind of think about it, because a lot of us are constantly seeking money and we're constantly seeking power, thinking that that is where we're going to drive our happiness. But no, Jim goes in, he does a study, and he finds out that most, which means more than half, right? Most are not happy. So Jim was like, we got to do something about this, man. People are working their tails off to get into these leadership positions. They're working their tails off to move up in the organizations. They've got money, they've got power, they've got influence, but they don't have joy in their heart. They're not happy. We've got to do something about this. Organizations cannot sustain this. This will not work moving forward. If more and more people hate their job, hate being in the workforce, guess what they're going to do? They're going to stop going into the workforce. They're going to start creating ways to fulfill their own purpose and to be able to go out and do their own thing because they're not happy. Either that or they're going to die miserable. And probably die early. And so when Jim discovered this, he was like, we have to do something about this. Now, Jim came from Silicon Valley. He's got a tech background. He's a very, very, very smart individual when it comes to software and technology. And so Jim decided he was going to put together a platform, this platform called Glint. And he created this software and technology that ultimately changes the level of happy in organizations. Isn't that amazing? He literally created something that can change the level of happy in people in organizations all around the world. So Glint is what's called a people success platform. And what he does with Glint is it shows organizations vital happiness information. And then they can take that vital happiness information and proactively create better mental and physical environments for all of their employees. The motto at Glint is really, really simple. It says just this: when people succeed, your organization succeeds. That's the mission behind Glint. When people succeed, your organization succeeds. Now, this organization has grown to where it's worth about $4 billion, and they are impacting millions of people's lives all around the world by simply injecting happiness into the workplace. Happiness. Jim wanted people to be happy. His company now helps millions of people worldwide achieve that goal. These people now have better attitudes at work, which leads to a better life outside of work. If you think about the spouses affected, the kids that are affected, the neighbors that are affected, Jim, in sense, with his desire to create a happy workplace, has been one man that completely changed the world. My friend Brantley Soma submitted his favorite quote into our hashtag Rise and Grind planner. You see, we have a hashtag Rise and Grind planner that at the top of every single day, there's a quote submitted by an actual Rise and Grind member, and they just submit their favorite quote. And today, Brantley Soma, his quote was submitted, and the quote came from Mother Teresa, and it says this: "I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples." I also want you today to meet a woman by the name of Margaret Ann Cargill. Now, Margaret was born in 1920. She grew up with her family experiencing a whole lot of ups and downs with their business. Her father and her grandfather, they were both in the grain business, and also they moved into the lumber business with this company that they just called Cargill. And Cargill was a massive, massive company through the revolutionary period of the 20s and the 30s and the 40s. They were able to make a lot of headway as a company and really grow and have a lot of success. And then in the mid 70s, they hit this low point where ultimately they had a deal with Russia, and that whole deal fell through. And next thing you know, they found themselves $4 billion in debt in the 1970s. And then they hired a new CEO, and just years later, this CEO was able to turn the entire company around. And so after this successful CEO change, this company, Cargill, went along to dominate the industry. Absolutely dominating the industry, becoming a multi-billion dollar company. And in 1970, when her father passed away, Margaret was left a fortune. She was left a fortune. I'm sorry, in 1990, she was left a fortune. I apologize. In 1990, she was left a fortune, $1 billion plus, billions of dollars, right? Now, meanwhile, her entire life from 1920 to 1990, 70 years later, she was just an unassuming woman that clearly had a little bit of wealth, clearly had a great background, but ultimately she was just an artist. She loved to make jewelry. She made jewelry locally and did paintings and crafting and things like that. And she would rarely use her last name. Rarely would she let anybody know that her last name was Cargill. She didn't want that on her. She was proud and loved for the family that she was from, but she didn't want people to see her that way. And ultimately, she never had any children of her own, and she was just known as this sweet, unassuming woman. She was a sweet, unassuming woman who had at one point said, "I just have some money. I don't actually do the good work, but I do want to be a philanthropist." And so she created the Margaret Cargill Foundation and started anonymously making large donations. And when I say large donations, like especially she loved donating to organizations that helped children, but she would drop like $2.4 million over here. Then she would drop $4.2 million over there. And some of these checks would show like that it came from this foundation, but nobody knew who Margaret was because she never used her last name. And so she would visit some of these organizations and like meet with the people and connect with them. And they would have no idea that she was the woman donating $4 million or $2 million. Like they would have no clue. She never let anybody know that she was doing these things. And ultimately, she gave away $200 million from 1990 to 2006. And over that period of time, over the 16 years that she gave away $200 million, nobody knew what she looked like. I want you to think about that for a second. I hope this isn't a gut punch for you, but think about the last time you donated anything. Somebody give you a plaque, or did they give you an accolade? Did you put your name next to it? I'm not saying that's bad. Don't get me wrong. I just want you to look at the contrast. $200 million. And nobody even knew what she looked like. She would meet these people and they would have absolutely no idea who she was. And then in 2006, this woman died. She passed away, this incredible woman. And when they read her will, she left behind everything to charities. $6 billion. B. People didn't even know she had this kind of money. She had gotten an inheritance of just over $1 billion. She'd been giving away over $200 million. And she had amassed $6 billion quietly and gave it all away. Every single penny of it was given away to charity. She is a selfless woman, a kind woman, a generous woman. And her legacy and impact has and will continue to change the lives of so many generations to come. $6 billion. You know, a guy named Vitor, not Victor. Vitor Belfort once said, "Legacy is not what I did for myself. It's what I'm going to do for the next generation." These stories of one individual impacting the globe. Like, what a beautiful notion, right? What a beautiful picture to paint. One individual making a global impact. And though it's such a beautiful image, it seems really far-fetched, doesn't it? I don't know about you, but sometimes I wake up every day and yes, I have a desire to make an impact. Yes, I have a desire to help. Yes, I have this dream and vision of making a global impact, but sometimes that can seem a little bit formidable. There's over 7 billion people on this planet. Sometimes it's hard just to get into my own dang Facebook page, let alone try to change the world one person at a time. And so I want to tell you one last story of global change and impact, of how one man changed the world before I let you go today. Because if you feel like that ever, if you feel like me, where sometimes it just feels a little overwhelming and a little like too much, maybe this story will help you. You see, 2,000 years ago, just over 2,000 years ago, there was a man named Jesus that was born here on earth. And he lived the first 30 years of his life quietly as a carpenter, working with his hands and building. And then from age 30 to age 33, he traveled by donkey and on foot from city to city in a place called Galilee and a place called Judea. And he shared everywhere he went a message of hope. And ultimately, he told people that they themselves were children of God and that their life had value and purpose. And he went around and he mocked things like greed and gluttony and power and riches, and then ultimately celebrated those that were the least of these. He celebrated those that were filled with kindness and those that had pure hearts. Jesus spoke boldly for those who couldn't speak for themselves. He was said to have walked into incredible temples and flipped the tables over of the prominent people, the ones that were respected, that were supposed to be the leaders of the Christian religion. He walked in and he flipped the tables. Anybody who abused their power, Jesus fought for 3 years. For 3 years, every day, he fought to offer hope to those that felt hopeless. For 3 years, he fought against those that abused the word or abused the hearts and the minds and the bodies of other individuals. And in 3 years, that one man completely changed the world. That one man completely changed the world forever. For generations and generations and generations and generations and generations forever. Ultimately, to where 2,000 years later, he has made such a massive impact in my life. Man, today we celebrate our fallen soldiers. To me, he's one of them. And I understand we all have different religious beliefs, and maybe you can't wrap your mind around the idea of Jesus being God, and I'm totally okay with that. If you can't wrap your mind around that, that's okay. I want you to wrap your mind around this idea that one man changed the world, and you can too. You see, yesterday at church, my pastor, John Weiss, he brought out this incredible verse. I didn't even know it existed. It's his favorite verse. It's Romans 8:16 and 17. And it says this: the Spirit himself testifies with our spirit that we are God's children. And then it finishes by saying this: now, if we are children, then we are heirs. Heirs of God and co-heirs with Christ, if indeed we share in his sufferings, in order that we may also share in his glory. God exists in you. It is in your DNA. You have the ability to create. You have the ability to go out and share your message, to share your voice, whatever it is that is put into your heart. You have the ability to go and to flip the tables and to overturn anyone and anything that ultimately you feel is a detriment to the mission of humanity. You have in you what Jesus had in him. You have the ability to change the world. You see, listen, my friends, this series is called Walk This Way. And as we experience this series, we're going to follow many, many people who maybe you've never heard of. Maybe you've never heard of Margaret Cargill before. And maybe you've never heard of Jim Barnett before. And maybe, just maybe, you've never heard of this guy, Jesus, before. And if that's the case, I'm so excited to be the one to introduce you to him. Because all three of them have done incredible, incredible things on this planet. None more so than Jesus himself. And sometimes all it takes is an introduction. Just a shaking the hand to spark something new in you. Because, see, I do believe that you are a child of God, the God of the universe, the God who made everything. And I believe that you and I are called to become the absolute best versions of ourselves that we can possibly be. Not for us, so that ultimately we can go out and make an impact in other people's lives. You see, the decisions that you make today, the decision for you to step into who you are and whose you are, that decision matters. It makes an impact on your friends, on your family members, on your coworkers. Every single little decision you make matters. You have worth. You have value. You are my brother. You are my sister. And I absolutely stinking love you. I do. If nobody's told you that yet today, I want to be the first. I absolutely stinking love you. And so because I love you, I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you to leave your mark. I want to challenge you to create your legacy. I want to challenge you to be the one that goes out there and changes the world. Listen, friends, if you need more videos like this, you can go to glennlundy.com. This is episode 880. We got plenty more. If you want to go hang out with us over on Clubhouse, you're welcome to do so. You can go meet us over there. We're going to be hanging out. We're going to be talking about this a little bit more. Most importantly, if you haven't done so, go ahead and hit that share button, share this out, and then come back here again tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m., because we're going to do this all over again on hashtag Rise and Grind. Have an incredible day.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. Hashtag rise and grind, hashtag rise and grind. First thing on my mind, early in the morning time. Daily motivation, feeling so divine. Waking up the nation, hashtag rise and grind. Hashtag rise and grind, grind, 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 grind. Hashtag rise and grind. First thing on my mind, early in the morning time. Daily motivation, feeling so divine. Waking up the nation, hashtag rise and grind. Hashtag rise and grind. Don't stop, get it, get it. Hashtag rise and grind. Stop, get it, get it. Waking up the nation, hashtag rise and grind. Waking up the nation, hashtag rise and grind. Good morning. All my people for the sunrise. Stepped into my greatness, feeling powerful and energized. Thankful to be alive.